My friends, this is getting a little bit scary. What is going on with that eruption in Iceland and with the volcanic system underneath? We will talk about this in this video. I feel a little bit shivers down my spine, so to speak, when I read the news today. And there's other news as well. There's some secrecy that the company that was founded to buy out the homes is exercising. So the residents want to protest again on Friday. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about the earthquakes that are rumbling all over the country. So not only are strange things happening on the Reykjavik Peninsula, it's like everywhere. And is this only in Iceland or is this all over the world? The earthquake activity all over the world is up above normal. But let's talk about this eruption that we're seeing here right now. Since April 5th, it has only been one crater, but that crater is massive and the crater rim is rising. So that is what is happening. The eruption started on March 16th and it has been going since then. And then they said, oh yeah, maybe it will die down because, there's no land rise. And then, whoa, all of a sudden there was more land rise again. And what does that mean? Because all the other events that have happened since November 10th, they came out of a shallow magma chamber underneath the surface, underneath the Blue Lagoon, the tourist attraction where you can swim in a nice pond, while that magma is accumulating underneath you. And there is a critical power plant that serves the southern Reykjavik Peninsula mostly with energy, with heat and electricity and warm water. So what is going on? This magma chamber is filling up while the eruption is still going. So there is a deeper magma reservoir that is fueling this. But what do the experts say? And that's what I said, that's what concerns me, because basically nobody knows why. And nobody knows what is going on. So basically, anything is possible. And we know there's this hazard map of the Icelandic Meteorological Office. There's Grindavik, of course, and then there's the Swartsengi area, the Blue Lagoon, the power plant, and on all these areas around it. Of course, the deep purple is where we have the current eruptions. But scientists have said it is possible that it would erupt, come straight up in Swartsengi where the Blue Lagoon is, where you're puddling in your spa pool, or inside Grindavik. And we already had one that was really too close for comfort in Grindavik, burning down 3 homes. So what does this mean? What is this system doing, guys? So the scientists are saying, and that sounds scary, what is going on right now? They have never seen before, neither in Iceland nor anywhere else in the world. And that's why I said, I've got shivers down my spine. This is strange. And that means there is no precedence where they could say, let's compare it when this system erupted, when this system erupted. Doesn't have to be in Iceland, anywhere else. Nope. There are no records that something like this has ever happened. And now they're thinking, maybe we got it completely wrong. What is going on? So all the theories, everything, maybe they're completely wrong. They already had this suspicion when the January 1st fissure opened, and then all of a sudden a second fissure opened that was burning down 2 homes. The location of the both fissures was not really along that magma dike that has formed on November 10th. A 15-kilometer long magma intrusion that was basically coming from the shallow magma chamber. It was reaching the point of maximum elasticity. The magma was sent on its way. It had to grind. It was forming that tunnel. That's why there were so many earthquakes that have rattled the town of Grindavik, have opened cracks, sinkholes, have opened fissures, tilted homes, foundation, have done so much damage to the town. So all the eruptions that we have seen in December, February, March, they were along that dike, but not the January thing. So they were thinking, is this another magma chamber? Where is this coming from? And then over time, they're thinking, yeah, maybe it still comes from the swartsengi area. Blue Lagoon and power plant. But who knows? Let's have a closer look. So the land is lifting up. The land where we have the Blue Lagoon and the power plant, it is rising despite the fact that there is still an eruption at the Sutnuka crater series. You know, let's imagine you're having a balloon and you're filling it with water. If it's full and then you give it an open, there's lots of pressure where it's flowing out. So if there is an eruption, that balloon is emptying out. And in recent events, we had the eruption, the land was subsiding, and then once the eruption was stopping or getting very, very slow, the magma chamber started filling up again. But now we have quite a thing going here. It's not that this is slowing down or that this is just a minor flow. It's quite visible as well. So, and still the magma chamber is filling up. So that's why the theories were we could see a second simultaneous eruption. So they were thinking most likely in the same area along the magma dike in the Sutnuka crater series, but maybe somewhere else as well. They think this is less likely, but since they think that they know that they don't know, it could be everywhere else. Who knows where these tunnel systems are and how they have built themselves into this underground system there. Maybe there's more tunnels that are coming from, maybe there's another tunnel that is filling up the magma chamber right now. Maybe there is an additional tunnel that has formed. The other one has closed, or one is just fueling the eruption. Who knows? We don't know. So there's a professor emeritus of geophysics, Paul Einarsson. And he considers the conditions for two eruptions at the same time to be unique. That's the first time that land is rising during an ongoing eruption. And he says that development indicates that the magma system does not look quite the same as experts so far have thought it would. So he says, quote, "This is the first time we have seen something like this. There is no experience to build on what this may mean for the future." And he says that such behavior at the roots of the earth have never been seen before in Iceland or any other country. Ooh, I find this spooky, guys. Sorry that I have to say that. I find this, do you want me to say it? I think I have to say it, right? In light of this, is it smart to bring all the tourists back in this area that's within the hazard map of the Icelandic Meteorological Office? The civil defense, the police chief of Sudorn would like to have everyone out of this area. And they're saying you're at your own risk if you go into these hazard areas, and you're responsible for your own actions and inactions. And also there's some fine print in the tourist establishments. You know which one I mean, the one where you can swim around and have a relaxing spa day with a facial mask while there is something going on underneath you. You know, I'm laughing right now, but I rather want to cry because money rules. That's, I think, what's happening. So they've been talking about bringing in parking lots and trails so that people can walk through the eruption, despite the fact that there's sulfur gas, volcanic gas, golf courses in Grindavik, restaurants in Grindavik, and I'm just sitting here, I'm like, this is really strange. They want to bring the tourists back in that area, but the government's just buying out the residents right now so that they're able to leave because they don't want to be there anymore. But for the tourists, it seems to be okay, right? And that's what I'm criticizing, guys. And then on the other hand, we have a professor of volcanology that you might know quite well if you're looking at my channel, and he's saying something else. He works at the University of Iceland, and I have to say, I think he's wrong. So Thorvaldur Thorvaldsson, he says he does not think that there is much chance of two eruptions at once, despite the signs that the land continues to rise at Swartsengi. So he said that he's thinking that it's much more likely that it will add to the current eruption. Yes, that could very well be, but I'm wondering, why isn't that happening already? Why is it storing in that magma chamber? It could flow through right away, right? So he says, of course, we can't rule out the other possibility, but he says, but I think it's likely, given that the magma usually looks for the easiest way to the surface. That is true. If there's an existing tunnel where the rocks have already been weakened and crumbled, it's easier for the magma. But consider, and we've just talked about this with the supervolcano in Italy, with the Campi Flegrei caldera. If there's magma on the rise, or steam, or volcanic liquids, the land is rising, the bradyseism, then it's subsiding again, it's rising, it's subsiding again. The surface is getting brittle, the rocks are getting loosened up. Like, first you have a solid rock, and that is basically creating crusher dust. That's a comparison that I would like to make. And then if the magma chamber empties out, there's a hollow space underneath that crust. Like when a sinkhole forms all over a sudden, there's a hollow space, and the land on top of it wears out, and then boof, it collapses. And that's why we see calderas, for example. So is it really 100% safe to be on top of a magma chamber in Swartsengi? Let me know, guys. Let's discuss this. I'm raising the question mark here, and I'm asking you what you think, so let me know. So what is he saying in addition? Yes, the magma doesn't want to have it difficult. It doesn't want to be like a coal miner and build some tunnels with explosives and grind through. If the magma does this, it always comes with stronger earthquake swarms. So we know it's on the way. If the tunnels are already there, and that's what the experts are saying, the second thing, if it's using the existing tunnels, we will have no warning. And we had little to no warning with the last events because the highway is already paved, right? It's not even off-road driving that magma has to do. So it doesn't come with earthquakes because it's not rattling around underneath. It's a nicely paved highway. So Thorwalder thinks that the current situation that we're having is actually a development of the previous magmatic events that were there. And he says in general, like the lower magma flow has accumulated in a shallower reservoir under Swartsengi, which causes the land rise. And then when the magma chamber reaches the tolerance limit, basically the magma is sent on its way into the eruption. And then when the chamber is empty, the pressure stops, and then the chamber begins to fill up again. Yes, that's how it was in the past, but that's not what's happening now. So what they're saying that with the eruption that started on March 16th, on the other hand, it seems that the channel that's coming from the deeper reservoir has for some reason moved past the shallow reservoir and moved up. But they're also saying, well, it seems there's also an opening in the shallower reservoir, so that over time also magma from the deeper reservoir has started to flow into the shallow reservoir. So do you think that this is the case? I don't know, guys. I don't know. He's saying what we have been seeing now is that this shallow reservoir has become full again. It is at a point where normally it would send magma on its way to trigger an intrusion or an eruption. I think we're at like between 8 and 9 million cubic meters, and we have seen events in the past between 8 million and 13 million cubic meters. So, and he thinks because it has reached that level, that's why people are talking about a second eruption again. But he thinks as the pressure builds up, it will naturally lead into the channel that we already have and make the current eruption stronger. But let's talk about a long-term eruption, because this thing is not showing any signs that the magma flow from a deeper reservoir is stopping. And he agrees with that. So he says, yeah, there is a chance that this eruption or eruptions could continue for weeks, months, decades, or centuries. And there are certainly precedents for that on the Reykjanes Peninsula. That's what he's saying. And that's why in the beginning of November, everyone said, or even since 2021 with the Fagradalsfjall eruptions, the Reykjanes Peninsula was waking up from an 800-year sleep. So now it's active and it can become way more active. There have been ancient lava flows even into the suburbs of Reykjavik with the Grindavik system that's also rumbling right now and showing signs of waking up. So that's why they've already been talking about building lava defense walls there. But do the lava defense walls really work? You have to check out this video because it seems in Grindavik, that lava, that sneaky lava is trying to go on top of the walls, but it seems it's going underneath as well. And that's a problem, especially if we see this current eruption getting stronger again. So imagine that, right? Since it has woken up, everyone said, yes, this can last for up to 300 years. And that's why many residents of Grindavik made the decision to leave Grindavik. But now, you know, they were told by early April, everything will be solved. You'll have your money. You can buy other homes, and nothing. And it's only bureaucratic blah blah coming from the company that was founded for that reason. And the residents feel like this is too many secrets and manipulation attempts. Before their last protest, all of a sudden there was a press news. Oh yeah, we have already worked on 100 and something applications and they will be sent out today. So the protesters thought that they just want to calm them down so that that protest goes away. But they want to protest again because they don't like the secrecy and basically that they're not being told anything. So they want to protest the working practices of that company. So they're saying, we're going to object Thorkalla's working methods. We can say that they have no working methods at all. There seems to be a lot of secrecy about everything and we don't get any answers. That's what the person says who's in charge of the protest. She says she doesn't understand why Thorkalla's purchase of Grindavik homes is not going faster than it actually is, but those who got their application approved as a result of those actions have to wait another 3 weeks for payment from the company. Yeah, and they said like 10 days for the purchase contract. We're not talking about thousands of homes. There were roughly like 700 applications, guys, and they already announced that since last year. So why is this taking so long? Many residents have lost their new homes now because the contracts have expired, and the sellers, smart as they are smart, I mean, they're increasing the prices of their homes. It's not a good situation. What these protesters say, they're saying, you know, we don't understand how it works and why it doesn't go faster. How can it be that we have been promised that it will take 5 days from the day that we apply for having our home bought out, but then people are waiting for it up to 15 to 20 days and it's always getting longer. She says the working methods of that company are unprofessional. So I don't know who they have hired for that. Then she says some people get answers that there are number 8 or 10 in line, but they still haven't been paid. And she says payment should be done in order. And she says for those that have like a loan with the pension funds, will start an even more complicated process. And she says we don't know why, and there's a lot of secrecy surrounding all of it. And here, I agree with you. I've said it before. She says she doesn't understand why the residents of Grindavik have to be some kind of experimental animal for a new technology that's driving everyone crazy and desperate. They wanted to do the applications and the purchase process, the notarization, payment process. They said they will program a new system. They want to develop a new system for that so that it's all made online. And I've been asking, like, I'm all for that, right? But I was asking why? We're talking about 700 applications. You know, do this on paper, stand here, right? It's crazy. We're having a natural disaster going on. People need to get on with their lives. It's been like since November 10th, since the people of Grindavik have been evacuated the first time. So that's why they're hoping that many people will come to the protest on Friday. It's again at a public speaking place in the capital area of Reykjavik. And they're also calling for other people in support of residents of Grindavik to go there. And I hope they will get that support. So guys, that's the end of my update right now. Thank you so much for staying with me so long. And please leave this video a like. And I hope to see you very, very soon, guys. And check out my Campifligrei videos. It's really scary there. Bye.